Hi there. In this lecture, we will look at list operations and list functions. So let's start with list operations. The first operation is plus operator, which concatenates the list. So let's see how this is working. Imagine that we have two lists. The first one is A. Let's see. It consists of 3 elements. And the second one is B. B also consists of 3 elements. I'll put like this. 4, 5, 6. So by using plus operator, we can concatenate these two lists and create one another list or just print out the result. In this case, I will just create another list, C, which will be concatenation of these two lists. So if we print out C, and save and run our code, you see that the list of C is now consists of both elements from the A and B. It's concatenation of A and B. So by using plus operator, we can concatenate two lists together. It doesn't matter how many elements we have here. If we put, for example, another element over here and save and run it, you see that 7 is also included over here. So this is how plus operator works. So let's continue to the next operator. The next operator is star operator. So by using star operator, any element in the list can be repetitive. It means that, for example, if I have a list like this, for example, with the element of 0, if I use star operator and multiply this with 4, you will see that we will have this element 4 times repetitive in the same array. So I can put like this, A equals A star by 4. So let's run our code. Let me print out A. So let's save and run our code. You see that 4 is repetitive 4 times. So if I add another element over here, this time these two elements will be 4 times repetitive. Let's run our code. You see that now 0, 1, 4 times repetitive, which means that by using star operator over here, so we can make our elements in the list to be repetitive. So these are two operations that we need to know about list operation. So let's continue to do list functions. There are a number of built-in functions in Python that can be used on list that allow you quickly look through a list without writing your own loops. The first function that we are going to use, len function. So instead of writing a loop and counting elements of the list, we can use len method to count the elements of the list. So imagine that we have a list like this. Let me delete code from here. Let me put a few more elements over here. Imagine that we have a list like this. So if we want to count element of this list, we can use len function. Len. And then inside we will put list name. Let's run our code. You see that number of elements is 7. So which means that we have 6 elements over here plus this 0 is 7. This helps us to write efficient code. Because normally when we count a number of elements in the list, we have to loop through list and count them one by one. But in this case, we don't need to use loop. We are just using len function, and by using len function, we can get the number of elements in the list. So the next function is max function. So by using max method, we can find the maximum element in the list. Once again, this is helping us to eliminate loop, because instead of writing loop to compare elements one by one, we can just write max method to find maximum element in this list. For example, if I just use it over here, max A, you will see that the number it will return is 6. So let's run our code. You see that maximum number over here is 6. So the next method is min method. So by using min method, we can find the minimum number in the list. It's working same way as the max method, but here it returns minimum number in the list. So if we select like this and save it, run our code, you see that the output is 0, which means that the minimum number in our list is 0. So this is how minimum method works. So the next method is sum function. So by using sum method, we can find the sum of these elements in the list. This is also very efficient. Instead of again writing loop, we are just summing up the elements. The syntax is same. We are just calling sum function with the parameter of a. So if we run our function, you see that it returns 21. So if we sum these elements over here, we will get 21. These functions are very useful when developing a software. By using combination of these functions, we can easily calculate other functions as well. For example, if we want to calculate average of this list, we don't have such function, but by using the functions that I explained here, we can find the average. So we know that the average is the sum of elements divided by the number of elements. So we can find sum of elements with sum a and divided by number of elements. So how can we find the number of elements here? So we learned that by using len function, we can find the count of elements in the list. So if I put like this and save and run our code, you will see that the output is 3, which means that we have 7 elements over here and the sum of these elements are 21. So 21 divided by 7, it is 3. So by using combination of these functions, we can find other functions as well, which are very useful in this. So here I prepared a challenge for you. By using these functions, we will do a challenge. So let's imagine that we have a code block like this, in which we are taking the numbers from the user and finding the average of this number. So if we run our code, you see that it asks to enter a number. So if I enter 1 and press enter, again it asks another number. So if I enter 2 and press enter, again it asks another number. To end this series, we just need to put done. When we put done, it will automatically give us the average of these numbers. So if I put here done, you see that the average is 1.5, which means that 1 plus 2 divided by 2 is 1.5. So this is how our block of code is working. As you see here, I declared 2 variables which initiated 0. Then inside while loop, here we are asking for user to enter a number. If a user enters done, then it exits from the loop. Otherwise, it continues to convert the number that user entered to float. And in total variable, we are keeping these values. Every time we receive a value, we are adding to the total. And in each loop, we are counting the number of loops. So at the end, we are calculating the average of these numbers. So now here, I want you to convert this block of code over here by using list and list functions. So which will make our code more efficient. So now here, I want you to pause the video and think if you can convert this block of code to the code that will use list and list functions. So pause the video now. Okay, now see how can we convert this block of code to the code that will use list. So here I will create a new list, and instead of using these variables over here, I will use the list to keep the values that the user enters. I will delete this variable over here. Instead of these variables, I will create new list. So here I will create my list like this, which is creating empty list. So then we start looping. While it's true, we will loop. This part will remain same because user has to enter numbers, and when he or she enters done, it should break. And this part also will remain same. We need to convert this to the float. So here, instead of keeping the values in the total variable, I will use mylist and append. Then I will add the value that user enters. So which means that every time a user enters a value, this will append our list. So I don't need these two parts over here. So at the end, we need to calculate average of this list. So how can we calculate average of list? So let me put this average variable outside loop. So here we will take sum of my list, and here length of list, which will give us number of elements in the list. So length of my list. So if I run our code now, you see that it asks to enter a number. I will enter 1, 2, 3, then done. You see that the average is 2. So if we sum up these elements over here, we are getting 6, and 6 divided by 3 is 2. So you see that here we used list and list functions to convert the block of code that we wrote before to the function that use list and list functions. So this makes our life much more easier. So now hopefully everything is clear about list operations and list functions. So by using these functions, you can write more efficient programs. So that's all for this lecture. See you in the next lecture.